Who are you to wave your finger? You must have been out your head. I hold deep in muddy waters. You practically raised the dead. Rob the grave to snow the cradle, then burn the evidence down. Soapbox house of cars and glass, so don't go tossing your stones around. You must have been high. You must have been high. You must have been. Mouth and head all fast, so what you talking about? Difficult to dance round this one till you pull it out. Boy, you must have been so high. You must have been so high. Steel borrow reefer, save your shady inference. Kangaroo done hung the jury with the innocent. Now your weeping shades are crimson in the cold, and you step in your eye. And you piss all over my black head. You must have been high, high. You must have been high, high. Who are you to wave your finger so full of it? Eyeballs deep in muddy waters, fucking hypocrite.
ID case. I only do regular Saturday streams during the season, so this is just a bonus stream. During the college football season, I do a live stream every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., a college game day kickoff stream. And then I stream 2 different time slots during the day for the games, too. So, in other words, I might stream while all the noon games are on for 3.5 hours or whatever, and then maybe stream again at 7:30 for 3.5 hours for all the primetime games. I pick 2 slots every single week and live stream during those 2 game slots on Saturday. One of those game streams is right here on YouTube. The second one is on the Patreon page.
the surfaces, these and other lucky witnesses now to call me. This time won't you please? Roll the window down this cool night air is curious. Let the whole world look in. Who cares? Who sees anything? I'm your passenger. I'm your passenger. Drop these down, put them on me. Nice, cool seats there to cushion your knees. Now to calm me, take me around again. Don't pull over. This time won't you please? Roll the window down this cool night air is curious. Let the whole world look in. Who cares? Who sees what's at night? Roll these misty windows down to catch my breath and then go and go and go. Just drive me home and back again. Take me to the end.
Yeah, good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. Yep, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, live on LouTube for you. And if you want to talk college football, because we're only 6 weeks away from actual football, and you're tired of talking about conference expansion that's not going to happen, you came to the right place. Not that I won't ever talk conference expansion again. I've just had my fill of it over the last few days, and I'm pretty sure if I feel that way, then there's probably a handful of other people that might feel that way too. So we're really close to the season. So I figured we might talk some actual 2022 football today. Instead of a bunch of endless what ifs and conspiracy theory things about which teams are going where, when, and all this kind of stuff. So that's what I want to do. So ask away in the comments section. We'll talk some college football. Hit the thumbs up if you're excited for the start of the season. 6 more Saturdays. Is that right? Only 6 more Saturdays without football? Let's find out. Let's find out. Not counting today, we've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Saturdays, not counting today. 7 Saturdays counting today without football. That's it. That's it. Talking season is almost over. Talking season is talking season for your boy Lou is year round. Of course, I have the gift of gab and the God-given ability of trash talk, which I use to humiliate fan bases, including my own, on a weekly basis during the season. So, but talking season, as far as we're going 15-0 from the Tennessees and the Texases and the Miamis and the Floridas and the Nebraskas and the fill in the blank, that's coming to an end. That's coming to an end because you can't go 15-0 once you catch your first loss in September. So it is what it is. Getting close to football team. Hit the thumbs up if you're as excited as I am about some actual college football to talk about. Like I said, instead of pointless what if scenarios, conference expansion, mumbo jumbo, and the like. Hit the thumbs up. 26 thumbs up. 82 people in here and only 26 thumbs up. We can do a little bit better than that. We can get to 40. Hit the thumbs up. If you would like to support the channel, 2 great ways to do it, Cash App and PayPal. Both of those are located in the description of the video. Super chat below the comment section, too, if you want to do it that way. There's the Cash App. I'll post it. Maybe the mods can repost this every 20 minutes or so, whatever. And there's the PayPal. Like I said, Cash App or Super Chat is right below the comment section. You can attach a note, comment, question, or troll attempt to any of those, and I'll be happy to read them and respond. Let's see who's hanging out with us today on a Saturday. Michigan fan is here. Octavian is here. Golden Blue Man. The college football YouTube community's version of QAnon. That's Golden Blue Dude. The Jacob Watson is here. Joey Foster. Stephen Cumby. Battle Angel. Envision. Rack Dog. Nick DTV. Nick Probst. Not to be confused with Rush Probst, what is human garbage in my opinion. Nathan W. Remick Johnson. Neo. I think I say that wrong every time. Hog Dog. Jerome. Don't feed the ducks. Don't feed the ducks. Oh, don't let me get distracted. How about that? David Trent is here. The Uncle Lou is here. Oh, that's me. Joe Dirt is here. Is it Dirt or Dirte? Dirt, or maybe it might be Joe Dirte, if I remember right. Joe D. Andrew the Textbook. Travis the Gaming Snorlax is here, which is good. Rack Dog. Hunter Cooan. Jace Vincent. Cardinal Guy. Matt Dummett. Ryan Burchett, Thomas Jones, Lizard Circus, Hufferbilly Paw, Slim Shady Canes, Preston Hodge, Captain Kenneth, Captain with a K, Captain Kenneth, Austin Tippett, Miranda Knight. What's up, Lou? It's Rod the Tater Man. What's up, Tater Man? Rod the Tater Man, of course, not to be confused with Pigskin Pete the Tater Man. Or just the Tater Man in general. Tater Man, does whatever the tater can. Runs down the hill, rubs his rock. The ukulele can suck my... Watch out, here comes the Tater Man. Type a 1 in the chat. Do y'all remember that video? We played Clemson last year, week 1, in a neutral site game in Charlotte. I drove up to Charlotte a few weeks before the game. about a month before the game and filmed that Tater Man music video in front of Bank of America Stadium where Georgia and Clemson were playing. Type a 1 in the chat. Y'all don't even know what I'm going to say, and you're already typing the 1. Type a 1 in the chat if Uncle Lou should make a road trip to Atlanta and record a music video called Oregon Man sometime in the next couple of weeks. Should I do that? If so, type a 1 in the comments section. Let's see who doesn't want me to do it. Envision says don't do it. Golden Blue Man says don't do it. Envision says don't do it again. Tony says don't do it. Slim Shady Kane says don't do it. Envision says don't do it again. 3 times he says that. Yeah, I might do that. I might get in the Lou Mobile, take a trip up the road to Atlanta, hit I-20 West, go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and record my newest, what was sure to be another number 1 hit. I've got several number 1 hits I've posted to this channel. What do I have on here? I've got Quarterback Hokey Pokey. That's probably my most successful song of all time. Of course, I've got Tater Man. I may or may not have a rap song or 2 uploaded on this channel that you'll have to do your own due diligence to find. I'm not going to point you in any direction on that because it's kind of embarrassing. But there may or may not be a couple of rap songs on here too. But anyway, so I've had several number 1 hits on the channel here over the years on my time on LouTube. And I have no doubt at all that were I to make that drive to Atlanta and record a music video for Oregon Man, I have no doubt it too would reach number 1 on the charts. I have no doubt of that. All right, let's talk some college football. What do y'all want to talk about? Let's get something going in the comment section here. Here, let me start with this. I'm going to make a poll. We don't have to specifically talk about this in the chat. We can talk about whatever you want. But I am curious. To me, this is one of the hardest leagues to pick this year. I'm going to put up a poll. Who is going to win the Big 12? Baylor, Oak State, Oklahoma, or someone else? Vote in the poll. I'll check the results in a few minutes. Uncle Lou, what are some of your all-time favorite albums? Well, every Tool album. Every Tool album. On one of the shows the other day, we were talking about Metallica, and I know this is kind of generic, but the Black Album is my favorite Metallica album. You know, I don't really know. Clemson recruiting class currently ranked 3rd for 2023. Is Sark on a hot seat? Didn't he just lose to Kansas? No, I do not think Sark is on the hot seat this year. If for some reason Texas has another year like they had last year, then yes. But I don't think Sark is getting fired this year. I don't think he's on the hot seat this year. What are your thoughts on Pink Floyd? I'm not a big Pink Floyd fan. I mean, I like a couple of their songs, that the same ones that everybody else likes, but I'm not a huge Pink Floyd fan. Neo's taking Baylor. Matt says Kansas State. Octavian says Kansas State. I'd be shocked if Kansas State won it. George Washington 1776 says, I'm one of your biggest fans, Lou. Thank you. Thank you. You're one of my favorite founding fathers. So that's what a coincidence, right? You're one of my biggest fans. You're one of my favorite founding fathers. What a coincidence. Will Levis might be one of the underrated QB in the SEC. I think Will Levis is really good. Will Levis is really good. Carolina Jackpot showing up with the troll today, picking Kansas to win the Big 12. Why can't Iowa State win the Big 12 and Iowa win the Big 10? Because neither one of them are good enough. That's the main reason. And that's the main reason there. Miami just got Jaden Wayne. I don't even know who that is, but congrats. Congrats. John Pillmore's taking Texas to win the Big 12. I think they have a shot. Do you really think Clemson will bounce back without Venables or have another season like last year? Bounce back from a 10-3 season? Man, pray for Clemson. They only went 10-3 last year. It's actually, 10-3 is not actually that bad of a season. But if you're asking me, do I think they'll be better than 10-3 this year? They might. I don't think they'll be worse. But the ACC, to me, overall, is improved over what it has been the last couple of years. Clemson has come back a little bit, and a few other teams in the ACC have taken a couple of steps forward. Miami, North Carolina, NC State, Wake Forest. Those aren't pushovers, even for Clemson. If Clemson's offense isn't any better than it was last year, then I think Clemson will lose a couple of games. Because Clemson's defense is going to be, it's going to be hard to score on Clemson's defense. Their defense is going to be legit. If their offense isn't, if the ukulele's not any better than last year and their offense overall muddles around like it did last year, I think they'll have similar results overall. But if the offense gets better, then I think they'll probably win the ACC and have a chance to make the playoffs. Do you admit that Alabama is better than Georgia this coming year? Well, I have Georgia ranked third and Alabama ranked second in my latest rankings. Which team is going on the Tennessee route where they once were good, now they're bad? Pick a team from every Power 4 conferences. I think you mean Power 5. Well, nobody in the Pac-12 would, there hasn't been a team in the Pac-12 that's been anything, really. Georgia's not going away anytime soon. Alabama's not going away anytime soon. Maybe Oklahoma if Brent Venables ends up not being a good head coach, although I wouldn't bet on that. Ohio State's not going away anytime soon. I don't think there is anybody right now that is really, really good that's going away soon. I believe Georgia's going away this year. Well, yeah, well, we've known you're a fucking idiot for a long time. You didn't have to type that. We've known that. But no, nobody thinks Georgia's going away anytime soon. You don't even think that. You're just an irrelevant troll. USC probably from the Pac-12. Oklahoma State is USC hasn't been good in 15 years, so that doesn't really. They're already Tennessee. Tennessee or Wake Forest in a shootout. That would be a hell of a game. 100 points would be scored in that game, no question about it. Both those teams have great offenses with great quarterbacks and terrible defenses. That would be a great game. All right, I'm going to have to start skipping over some of just the troll comments and try to get to the more legitimate ones. Thoughts on Tennessee's 15-0 2022 season? That's just... that's just fucking retarded. Anyone saying anyone is going away that can pay as much as anyone in NIL is stupid. This is a new era. Do you think Vandy will win 10 games this? Okay. You know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start timing these people out, and the second time I'm just going to block them. Is Vandy going to win 10 games? Take a 5-minute break. Think about how fucking dumb you are. And then you can come back in. Tennessee went 7-6. Hype needs to die down a little bit. I agree to a certain extent. I do think Tennessee was a little bit better than their record indicated last year. A couple of those games, they really not only could they have won them, but they probably should have won them. and so I know they were 7-6, but they were pretty close to being 9-4. So I understand. Well, it depends on how optimistic the Tennessee fan is being, and whether or not I think that's legitimate or not. Tennessee fans who are expecting to go 9-3 in the regular season, I think that's a pretty legitimate expectation. Anything higher than that, you're starting to border on being a little bit of a blind homer there. I think Tennessee will be favored in 9 or 10 of their games. They're going to be massive underdogs to Alabama and Georgia, but they'll most likely be favored in 9 or 10 of the other games, depending on how good LSU ends up being by the middle of the season when they play. So if Tennessee can win all the games they're supposed to, they'll go 9-3 or 10-2, depending on what LSU looks like. But it's hard to win every game you're supposed to. So I assume they're probably going to lose one game they're not supposed to. So let's say if they're favored in 9 games, I think they probably go 8-4. If they're favored in 10 games, I think they probably go 9-3. Is there an NIL collective out there wanting to work with a scrawny, anti-athletic physics student asking for a friend? NIL collectives will work with anybody who has the ability to write them a check. So yes, the answer to that question is yes. UJ is really close to get another tight end, and here's another one. If you could pick, what is that? Hold on. If you could pick a FCS football school, I'm not even reading the rest of that. I'm not interested in talking about the FCS. USC 9-3. You talking about South Carolina or Southern Cal? Southern Cal could go 9-3. South Carolina, no. No. Southern Cal could, not South Carolina. When will Vandy win an SEC game? I don't think it'll be this year. No, I have not seen the Elvis movie. What's Texas floor and ceiling? I'd have to pull the schedule up. All right. Let's see here. Texas Shorthorns. To everybody that keeps asking about the Texas helmet, by the way, which is right there, upside down. The people that keep telling me to turn it the right way, or when am I going to turn it the right way? I'm going to turn it the right way right here, November 19th, when you beat Kansas. Until then, it's staying upside down. I don't care if you're 10-0 going into that game. The helmet's going to be upside down until you beat Kansas. Okay, so floor and ceiling. Now, the way I do this is any game that I feel like could go either way, I count that as a loss when I'm looking at the floor, worst case scenario. And I count all of them as a win when I'm looking at best case scenario. So there's some that are just, I think, are automatic wins. Louisiana Monroe, win. UTSA, win. Texas Tech, win. Kansas, win. So that's 1, 2, well, let's just look at the toss-up games. Alabama, could they lose that game? Yes, they could. So that would be 1 loss. Could they lose to West Virginia? They could. It's not likely, though, because it's at home. No, they're not. Actually, no, they're not losing that game. Could they lose to Oklahoma? Yeah, they could. So that would be 2 losses. Could they lose to Iowa State? Yeah, they could. So that would be 3. Could they lose to Oklahoma State? Yes, 4. Could they lose to Kansas State? I'm going to say no. Could they lose to TCU? I'm going to say no. Kansas, no. Baylor. 7-5. If Texas goes worse than 7-5, somebody asked me earlier, Sarkisian on the hot seat, and I said no. If they go 7-5, he should be, because that's horrendous. That's horrendous. So I would be extremely surprised if they went worse than 7-5. Now, what's the ceiling? I'm sorry, but I can't pick them to beat Alabama, even though it's at home. So no matter what, I think that's a loss. Are there any other games on here that I think are guaranteed losses? No. They could beat Texas Tech. They could beat West Virginia. They could beat Oklahoma with a first-year head coach and a group of 5 quarterback. They could beat Iowa State. They could beat Oklahoma State, although that, man. God, could they go 11? I guess they could go 11-1, but I'm going to say 10-2 as the ceiling. So I'm going to say somewhere between 7-5 and 10-2. How about that? That's about the best I can come up with right now. Somewhere between 7-5 and 10-2. I don't know if I can pick them to go 11-1. It wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world if they went 11-1 with their only loss being to Bama, but it's hard to predict that. Hard to predict that. Do you think Louisville will be able to turn things around? This year? Well, what's your definition of that? What do they have to do this year, in your opinion, to be quote unquote turned around? Last year they were 6-7. So what do they have to do in your mind to be quote unquote turned around? I mean, they should start 2-0. They should beat Syracuse in Central Florida. They get Florida State at home, so that's a winnable game. Not sure it's a guaranteed win, but it's winnable. They should beat South Florida. They should be no worse than 3-1 after the first month of the season. At Boston College, they'll probably be an underdog. At Virginia, I think is a winnable game. Pitt at home, they'll probably be an underdog. Wake Forest, they'll definitely be an underdog. They should beat James Madison. They'll be an underdog to Clemson, an underdog to NC State, and an underdog to Kentucky. I think these are 3 losses here to end the season. I think they probably lose 5 of these games here after the bye week. I don't really see a winnable game after the bye week other than James Madison. Maybe they win. Somehow win 2. That's still 4 losses. Probably 5 losses here, Boston College. Maybe if they go 7-5, that would be a miracle. I guess I'm going to answer that question by saying no. I don't think Louisville is turning anything around this year. Florida getting bent over at home by the Vols. Well, the game's not at home for Florida. It's on the road. It's a home game for Tennessee. Will South Carolina still have more ACC titles than Miami after this year? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. I think Miami's going to be good this year. I mean, you already know I have Miami making the ACC title game. I mean, you've seen I've done my Miami prediction video. I've got Miami going 10-2. And one of their losses is to Texas A&M. So I've got Miami only with 1 ACC loss, and that's to Clemson in the regular season. So maybe they get a rematch with Clemson in the ACC title game. Maybe they play somebody different in the ACC title game. I don't know, but I think Miami is going to be pretty good. I happen to think Miami is going to be pretty good. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Let's be real, there probably is. But what are you going to do? Lou, do you ever get recognized in public? As far as like around town here, every once in a while, a handful of times a year, maybe. If I go somewhere college football oriented, a college football game, for example, somewhere, then, yes. But as far as just like going to the grocery store, no. Maybe 5 or 6 times a year. I was at the gas station a couple of months ago getting a water, actually, for my son's soccer practice, a bottled, one of those bottled water with the squirt tops or the sip tops, whatever they're called. And there was a guy that works for Coke there at the gas station stocking the Coke part of the freezer in the gas station. And he recognized me. But that only happens, that doesn't happen very often. I mean, it's not like I walk around town wearing a team asshole hat and wanted glasses. You know? If I walked around town wearing my team asshole hat and the wanted glasses, I reckon I'd get recognized a lot more. Kentucky first 2 SEC games are biggest for them of the year. I don't know. The Georgia game is going to be pretty big for them. It's a home game. Let me see who are there. I know they play Florida early in the season. Who else do they play? Florida and Ole Miss. I disagree. In fact, I couldn't disagree more. Why would Ole Miss be one of the 2 biggest games of the year for Kentucky? That's just ridiculous. They play Florida in week 2, and their next SEC game is at Ole Miss. So I completely disagree that those are the 2 biggest SEC games of the year for Kentucky. I couldn't disagree more. Vols haven't done anything in over 40 years. Well, that's not true. It's been 24 years. Slim Shady Canes, thank you for hitting the super chat, sir, to help support today's show. I really appreciate that. He says, do all Florida fans work at the same place sniffing farts out of seat covers? Yes, I think they do. I think they do. Jesus. Cormit the Frog says, you are scared, Lou. What am I scared of? Let me know. Tell me what I'm scared of. I'd like to know. If you're going to say spiders, then yes, I am. I don't like spiders, snakes. Yes, I am scared of those things. I don't know what it is you're about to say I'm scared of, but go ahead and let me know. I'm curious. Lou, how much do you make annually since YouTube is your job? Well, I don't really want to say. Lou, don't forget about our $200 bet on Caleb Williams and Dylan Gabriel. We don't have a $200 bet on anything unless you've sent me $200. You think Mississippi State has a chance to make a New Year's Six with Rodgers at QB? I've got every bet I've made, I've got written down. Not there. Hold on. Here's the bets I have so far for this season. I've got a bet with Caleb L. He says South Carolina will win 7 or more games. I say they won't win 7 or more games. I have a bet with VicTube. VicTube says South Carolina will win 8 games. I say they won't win 8 games. I've got a bet with a GNS coverage. He says Florida State will win 8 or more games. I say Florida State will not win 8 or more games. And I've got a bet with Joey Foster for $20. Those are the 4 bets I have so far for this year. Octavian, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate that. Thank you for helping to support the show and the channel. Lou, who's the most delusional fan base of this offseason? That's a good question. I don't think it's Tennessee. Tennessee has won that title a lot of off seasons. I don't think it's Tennessee. It might be Southern Cal. As weird as that is to say, because while there aren't a ton of Southern Cal fans around YouTube, I do see a lot of Southern Cal fans on Facebook and Twitter, and there have been some on YouTube as well. And they might be the most delusional. And I think Southern Cal is going to be good, but some of them think they're making the playoffs this year and stuff like that. Are you down for the bet, or have you changed your mind? I don't even know what the bet is, but you know the deal. Any bet I make, you got to send me the money ahead of time. I don't bet with people on here unless everybody I just told you, they've sent the money already, and I hold the money. And then if I lose, I send them back their money plus what I owe them. If I win, I just keep the money, because I've been down this road too many times. And then I make a bet, I win, and whichever anonymous typer troll in the comment section I made the bet with, they just disappear. So I don't do that anymore. So whatever bet you want to make, you have to send the money to my PayPal or my Cash App and type in there what the bet is. You said Caleb Williams will have more total yards than Dylan Gabriel. Oh, I definitely believe that. Caleb Williams will have more total yards than Dylan Gabriel, without question. Without question. So, yeah, I will definitely make a bet on that, but you got to send the money before the season starts. Or it's not a bet until you send the money. Hooker breaking Manning's records at UT. Wouldn't that be something? You know what? I know whose record he's not going to break. He's not going to break T. Martin's record of having a national title. He's not going to break that record. He might break Peyton Manning's record of never beating Florida. You know, Peyton Manning was winless against Florida. He might break that record, Hendon Hooker. He might actually beat Florida, whereas Peyton Manning never did. Peanut says Frost is gone this season. I think they got to win 8 games for him to keep his job. Lou, your thoughts on the matter? They want Harsin gone so bad. If he made it to the SEC championship game after God, do you think that would even save his job? Yes, if he made it to the SEC championship game, they're not firing him. But Auburn's not making the SEC title game. Auburn would be lucky to make a bowl game. Auburn's going to be horrible. Harsin will be gone. I don't even think he'll make it to the end of the season. He will be gone. Florida going 6-5, says Daniel Rivera. Is one of their games getting canceled or something? They're only playing 11 games this year. Which is it gonna a hurricane or something is gonna cancel a game? What's the deal? 6-5. They play 12 games. Peyton Manning has UT's only loss to Memphis ever in football. Damn, that's a shame. No wonder he didn't win the Heisman. Jeff Collins is gone for sure. Yeah, that's another one. Jeff Collins will be gone too, Georgia Tech. That's another one I don't think. I don't think Jeff Collins will be the coach at Georgia Tech when Georgia plays Georgia Tech the last week of the season. I think he'll be gone before that. Tank Bigsby would have to put the whole team on his back. Tank Bigsby's going to have to put the whole team on his back just to make a bowl game. There's nothing Tank Bigsby can do to lead Auburn to the SEC West title. They're just not going to be that good. And that's nothing against Tank Bigsby. I said the other day I think he might be the best running back in the SEC this year. I'd love to have him, but one good running back on your team does not an SEC championship team make. Do you think Georgia Tech gets left behind in expansion? I don't think the SEC will take them because they were already in. Georgia Tech was in the SEC, got pissed off, and ran like a bitch. So I don't see why the SEC. I mean, this ain't no. Well, I'm not even going to say it. But anyway, I don't think the SEC should take them back. No. They were in the SEC. They had a chance. They cried and bitched and moaned and ran like a bitch. So I don't think they should get back in. No. Will OU have the best defense in the Big 12 this year? No. 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 What is one team that will have a good record but will get blown out in the big games? Maybe Texas A&M. They're going to get blown out by Bama. I mean, write that down. Nick Saban's going to score 100 on them if he can. Texas A&M may end up being 9-3, 10-2, something like that, but they're going to get blown out by Bama. That I know. Do you think Tennessee has a chance to have the best offense in college football? No. I mean, they have a good offense. And it depends I don't know what you mean by best offense. Best offense according to what? Points per game, total yards per game, yards per play. I don't know how you judge best offense. If you're talking about points per game, they'll be top 10. but they were top 10 last year. Well, Oklahoma State had the best defense in the Big 12 last year. I know they lost their defensive coordinator, and like everybody else, they lost some players off the team, but I think they'll still have a pretty good defense too. How many more years do you see Nick Saban coaching? I don't think Nick Saban will be coaching in 2030. That I know. But short of that, I don't know. Maybe he hangs it up when the playoff ends. You know, the playoff system we have now ends in 2025. Maybe he hangs it up then. I really don't know. I really have no idea. Oh yeah, let's look at the poll. I'll end the poll. It's been up long enough. Let's see. Let's see who y'all think's winning the Big 12. 29% of you think Oklahoma is winning the Big 12. 27% of you think Baylor. 24% of you think Oklahoma State. 18% think somebody else. Let's put Lou in at QB for you, Jay. You can hand the ball off. Nick Saban, best LSU coach in history. I don't know. He won one natty. So did Ed Orgeron. So did Les Miles. Dave Aranda has been fantastic. Yeah. I don't know if Baylor's going to be able to hang on to him. If back to the Saban question, if Saban retired in the next year or two, they would probably go after Dave Aranda, would be my guess. If YouTube died tomorrow, what would you do? What do you enjoy in your time outside of LouTube? Well, I play cards I enjoy playing cards. That's really it. If for some reason YouTube went away tomorrow, I would just post everything I would just post everything on Patreon. I wouldn't know. I don't know what else. I really don't know what else. Well, that would be my short-term plan. If for some reason I woke up tomorrow morning and there was just some big announcement and YouTube no longer existed, as far as what I would do immediately and in the short term, I would do exactly what I'm doing now, but it would all be on Patreon. And then I would have to figure, I'd have to figure something out. Yeah, do a feet thing on OnlyFans. That would be one option. I'll take your money in Texas Hold'em. Well, we can play anytime you want to, buddy. We can play anytime you want. I'm always ready. I have never been to Vegas. No. I would like to go, but I just I've never had the opportunity to go. Maybe I'll go next spring. Maybe I'll go next spring. Have you ever been to ATX for a Horns game? I don't even know what that is. Have you ever been to ATX for a Horns game? I don't know what ATX is. A Horns game? Is that, you talking about a Texas Longhorns football game? Their stadium is called ATX? I didn't know that. No, I've never been to a game in Texas. I don't really know what you're asking me though. Would you ever ask Kirby about that fake punt against Alabama and see why he's still coaching? Well, yes, I would ask him about that, but I know why he's still coaching. It's because he's one of the best 2 or 3 coaches in the country. Top 3 offensive minds in college football right now: Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, and Lincoln Riley. Would you ever consider coming to Texas for a Longhorns game? Not anytime in the immediate future, no, because I don't consider going anywhere for a game. I mean, I have a list of places I would love to see a game at, and Texas is on the list, but that's going to have to be a long time down the road. I work every Saturday right now. I won't be able to do anything like that probably until I retire. ATX equals Austin, Texas. So have I ever been to an Austin, Texas game? No, I've never been to an Austin, Texas game. I don't even know what an Austin, Texas game is, but I know I haven't been to one. If you had to choose Dabo or Kirby, who would you choose? Kirby. Top 3 defensive minds in college football? Kirby, Saban, and Jim Knowles. No, I don't gamble on my phone. I gamble in real life, in person. You talking about poker? No, I don't play poker on my phone. If you're talking about sports betting, then yeah, during the college football season, yes, I do bet on college football games on the internet. ATX is the abbreviation for the capital of Texas. Yeah, well, it still doesn't make any sense to ask me if I've been to an Austin, Texas football game. It would make sense to ask me if I've been to a football game in Austin, Texas. But that's not what they asked. They asked, have I been to an ATX football game? And no, I haven't. I don't think Muschamp is a top 3 defensive mind. He's top 5 or 10 for sure, but not top 3. Chances of Texas upsetting Kansas this year, I would say, are pretty high. Pretty high. What would be your dark horse team to win the Natty this year? Okay, so teams that aren't dark horses to me would be Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Clemson. I think anybody other than that is a dark horse. And the odds back that up. So Utah, Miami, Southern Cal, Texas, those would be dark horse. Those would be dark horses worth betting on. The odds would make it worth the bet. Have you been to the Georgia-Tennessee game? Yes, I've been to, I think, 2 Georgia and Tennessee games. Yeah, I've been to 2 Georgia and Tennessee games, both in Athens. Who do I think would be the QB for UJ next year? You mean 2023? Right now, it looks like Carson Beck. Penn State would be a dark horse too. Yeah, if that quarterback stays healthy, people forget Penn State was really good the first half of the season last year, and then that quarterback got hurt and they went in the toilet. But they were really good the first half of the season. Now, they play in a really tough division with Ohio State, Michigan State. So I wouldn't actually bet on on Penn State, but I do think Penn State's going to be good. No, I did not go to UGA. I went to college in where I live in Augusta. I went to Augusta State University. They don't have a football team. Have you ever had any stalkers? I've had pretend stalkers, pussies that say they're coming and don't come, but not not any that actually had the balls to show up. No. I've had plenty of people that are going to fight me when they see me here or there, and they're going to do this to me, or they're going to come to my house and all this kind of stuff. But so far, all the stalkers have been giant pussies. Waikiki, thank you for the super chat and helping to support the channel. I really appreciate that. He says, Golden Blue Man said BYU is why the Pac-12 is going away. Thoughts? Oh, that's ignorant. I haven't heard him say that, but that's ignorant. I mean, BYU had already made the move to the Big 12 before anything ever happened to the Pac-12. So no, I think that's pretty dumb. Have you ever been a taker? What do you? Well, I don't even know what does that mean? Out of all the Indiana Jones movies, which one is your favorite? That's funny, LeBron. We were talking about that the other day because I think it was on the 4th of July. There was a Indiana Jones marathon on TV. My favorite one is Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail, the Quest for the Holy Grail, whichever one that one is. What's the name of that one? The Last Crusade. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That's my favorite one. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. What do you think about Kennesaw State and Mercer? I don't think too much about them. I don't pay that much of attention to those types of schools. I mostly focus on the Power Five here, and then the group of 5 schools that are nationally relevant. Nothing against those schools. I know those are Georgia schools, and I hope they do well. But I as far as what I focus on, it's the Power Five and nationally relevant group of 5 teams. Lou, do you watch FCS? No, I do not. I would watch the FCS if they played in the spring, but with them playing this during the same time real college football is being played, no, I don't watch it. I just don't have time. Big Ten is overrated as hell to me. Well, I don't know what to tell you. They're clearly the second best conference in college football. Last year, the Big Ten East was the best division in college football. They put the second most teams in the NFL every single year. The Big Ten is a legitimate power conference and not very far behind the SEC overall. But the SEC is the best conference right now. Have you ever been to the Masters? I've been to the Masters a bunch of times. No, I do not watch anime. Top 5 Heisman contenders? In no particular order: Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams, Tyler Van Dyke, and Will Anderson. Imagine you've just been made the commissioner of college football, and you now wield absolute power over the sport. What are the first 3 actions you take? The first thing I do is even out scheduling. I mandate 9 conference games plus 2 additional Power 5 games. So you'd have to play 11 Power 5 games a year. 9 of those have to be conference games. I would do away with the ejections associated with targeting penalties. And I would expand the playoffs in a specific way. I would go with 12 teams. If you win a Power 5 conference, you get an automatic bid to the playoff. The top 4 of those 5 conference champions would receive a first-round bye. The first round of the playoffs will be played on college campuses. Those would be the first 3 things I would do. Don't you think expanding the playoffs will hurt the regular season and just turn it into an NFL model? The NFL regular season is the most popular regular season on planet Earth. So turning it into the NFL won't hurt the regular season when the NFL has the most popular regular season on planet Earth. And that's why I would give buys to, what is this? Don't spam the comment section. I will straight up bet you $100 right now, and I will send you the money that Alabama beats Georgia. I will straight up bet you $100 right now, and I will send you the money that Alabama beats Georgia. Okay, I'll take that bet. The bet is Alabama will beat Georgia this year. I'll take that bet. Here you go. I'll post a PayPal. There's the PayPal. There's the Cash App. What are your thoughts on our opener versus Oregon and also the potential position matchups? Go Dogs. I think Georgia will win the game easily. This is almost an unfair position for Oregon. First-time head coach Dan Lanning has to travel all the way across the country, play Georgia in a quote-unquote neutral site game that's an hour away from Athens. The crowd will be 90% Georgia fans, and Georgia's just a better team than Oregon. Oregon's a good team. Georgia's a great team. It's just a bad spot for Dan Lanning and Oregon to be in their first game of the year in his first year ever being a head coach. So I think Georgia wins easily. What if he places that bet right now and they never play? Then I win the bet, because the bet is that Alabama will beat Georgia. If they don't play, then that means Alabama doesn't beat Georgia. Georgia lost a lot, but I don't know about the recruiting. You do know about Georgia's recruiting. Come on. Everybody knows about Georgia's recruiting. Georgia's recruited in the top 3 5 years in a row with 2 number 1 classes. So Clemson is focusing on recruiting serious talent in the trenches. Yeah, everybody should. Clemson has fallen behind on the offensive line. Now, you know that, Paul, so maybe that's why they're making a special emphasis on that right now, but Clemson has fallen behind a little offensive line-wise. But so to be fair, so has Alabama. Alabama's offensive line last year was one of the worst they've had in many years, and there's a lot of questions about Alabama's offensive line going into this year, too. He's not going to send the money. 90% of the people that say they want to bet don't send the money. I'll let y'all know if he sends it, but I'm not expecting him to send it. Usually people who are that loud have no intention of actually making the bet, and in a lot of cases don't even have the money to make it to start with. Do you think Stepson Bennett hit his ceiling last year, or will he be better this year? He may have better stats this year, but I don't think he's going to be any better of a quarterback. No. The guy's been in college for 6 years. He's not getting any better. He is who he is. He may throw for 3,200 yards instead of 2,800 or something, but I don't think he'll, actually be a better quarterback. I think he is who he is. Yeah, that was a big get for Oregon, that quarterback. Would it matter how well a team like Tennessee and Wake Forest recruit on defense with how effective their offenses are? Yeah. Have you seen Oklahoma play any in the last 6 years? It definitely matters. Tennessee and Wake Forest, as good as their offenses are, weren't as good as Oklahoma's offenses were from 2017 to 2020. And how did that work out for Oklahoma? They couldn't win a playoff game. So, yes, recruiting on the defense matters no matter how good your offense is. Of course it does. Of course it does. He proposed the bet, Justin, not me. I accepted the bet on his terms. If he wants to renegotiate the terms to where the bet is void if they don't play, that's fine too. But he's the one that made the terms of the bet. If I make a bet that Georgia's going to win the national title, but Georgia ends up not playing in the national title game, do I lose the bet? Yes. Of course I do. Of course I do. You can win the Natty with a defense that isn't elite, but it can't be terrible. Yeah. Lou, give me the best quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and offensive line rooms in the country. Best quarterback room in the country? I like Alabama's quarterback room. I like Jalen Milroe. I think Jalen Milroe might be better than Bryce Young. Nothing against Bryce Young. He's going to play and start and be great this year, but I think Jalen Milroe could be really, really good. So maybe Alabama. Now there's some other teams that don't have a single quarterback. Like they might not have one quarterback that's as good as Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, but they've got like three really good quarterbacks. LSU, Texas A&M, those teams have two or three legitimate college starting quarterbacks on the roster. Georgia's got a national title winning quarterback, 2 5-star quarterbacks, and a 4-star quarterback. That's a pretty good quarterback room. But I'd probably go with Alabama just because Bryce Young's the returning Heisman winner, and I'm so high on Jalen Milroe. Okay, let me go to the running back. Best running back room. Man. I always like Georgia's group of running backs. Georgia's always got 2 or 3 NFL running backs, right? I think Bijan Robinson is probably the best running back in college football. So I think that makes you at least consider Texas for the list there. Wisconsin's always got a couple of really good running backs. Best wide receiver group is Ohio State, and no one else is even close. Best tight end group is Georgia, and no one else is even close. Best offensive line, I think, is also Georgia. Alabama is normally considered for one of the best offensive lines in the country. That's clearly not the case right now. I think even Alabama fans have. Now, we may get halfway through the season and find out that Alabama's got a really good offensive line, but you can't predict right now that Alabama's going to have one of the best offensive lines. Not after what we saw last year and what we saw in the spring game. Alabama's got some questions on with the offensive line. Alabama fans have. I admit, Georgia, like inside linebacker, for example. Georgia's got an issue there. Just because I'm a Georgia fan doesn't mean I can't admit that. If Alabama fans can't admit that their offensive line is a question or an issue heading into the season, then they're just blind homers. And you can't take them serious. Like this guy that wants to bet that's not going to send the money in. I'm still waiting, though, buddy. Maybe I better post it again. Here's the PayPal. Here's the Cash App. Send that $100 you was running off at the mouth about. So you're betting on Georgia. Yeah, I will bet. You said you want to bet. What do you want? Do you want to just bet the SEC championship game? Is that what you want to do? I mean, I don't know what you're saying. You bet Alabama beats Georgia. Well, they don't play in the regular season. I think they're playing in the SEC title game, but there's no guarantee. So do you want to just bet the SEC title game? And if one or both of those teams don't make the SEC title game, then the bet is void? Is that what you want to do? I mean, you just have to spell out to me what you want to do. And then you have to send $100 to that PayPal or that Cash App, or it's not a bet. Are you worried at all about Tennessee as an SEC contender this year? No. I personally think that they may make an upset this year against either Bama or Georgia. Well, they're not beating Georgia on the road in Athens. They've got a better chance of beating Alabama at home than they do of beating Georgia on the road. I mean, Tennessee's big win this year is going to be at home against Florida. That's going to be their big win this year. I think they're going to get beat by Bama and Georgia. But I do think they're going to beat Florida at home. And let's be real, that's a big win for Tennessee. Tennessee's isn't Tennessee like 1-18 against Florida in the last 19 years? 1-17 in the last 18 years, something like that. That's going to be Tennessee's big win this year, the Florida game. I mean, Tennessee's going to beat Pitt too, but that's not that big of a win in my opinion. For Tennessee, beating Florida at home is going to be their big win. Is Arkansas a playoff dark horse? I don't think they have a chance at the playoff, no. Georgia's title last year was a fluke. Well, that's fine with me. I don't care what you call it, but it's a national title though. You don't have a fluke national title from last year. That I can tell you. Your entire season was a fluke. At least Georgia's fluke season ended in a national title. So, what if Stetson goes back to back? What will be? I missed the end of that. I'd be willing to bet 50 that Keyshawn Boutte is first wide receiver taken in the NFL draft. Are you interested? I think that's possible because he's really, really good. But because that's such a long shot, I'll take that bet. You can have Keyshawn Boutte. I'll take every other wide receiver. I'll take that bet. I'll post a PayPal and a Cash App again. And this isn't me. This isn't anything against Keyshawn Boutte. If you saw my video the other day about explosive players in the SEC, I love Keyshawn Boutte. So there you go. There's the Cash App and the PayPal. But because that's such a long shot bet, that any one person would be the first player taken into his position, yes, I'll take that bet. You can have Keyshawn Boutte. I'll have every other wide receiver that enters the draft. I actually like coffee flavored ice cream. It's not my favorite by any means, but I actually like it. Arby's, I don't know if they still do this. Arby's used to have a milkshake called a Jamocha Shake, and it was basically a coffee flavored milkshake. Give me the best defensive line, linebacker, cornerback, and safety rooms. Well, I'm just going to combine. I'm just going to do secondary. I'm not going to separate corners and safeties. The best defensive line in the country is Clemson. The best linebacker group in the country is Alabama, and the best secondary in the country is Georgia. They still have it? Yeah, I haven't had it in a while, but my parents used to take us up there when we were kids to get that. Those are pretty good, those Jamocha Shakes from Arby's. Yeah, they're good. If y'all haven't tried it, because I know not a lot of people even go to Arby's to start with, and you don't even have to go eat there. Just go there after dinner one night. Try the Jamocha Shake. It's pretty good. I think you'll be surprised. And even if you don't drink or like coffee, because when I didn't drink coffee when I was a kid, but I love those Jamocha Shakes. Y'all should try it if you've never tried those. Yeah, they're really good. Are you a fan of Star Wars? I love Star Wars. Yeah, I love Star Wars. I grew up with the original trilogy. You know, I was born in 78, right when the original trilogy was coming out. I saw the second and third Star Wars movies in the theater. When they were originally released, way back in the early 80s. Mid 80s. Yeah, I love Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back is the best coming from BYU has the best O-line in the country. That's just fake news. I'll just Google and I'll pull up whatever the first list is. BYU won't be on it. Best O-line college football. Let's see. That's last year. Best offensive line in every conference. Let's see. Well, BYU's not in a conference, so they won't be on this list. But do they? Let's see who they have for the SEC. For the SEC, they've got Georgia as the best conference. BYU's not listed because they're not in a conference. I'm trying to see if I can find. Yeah, you're probably trolling anyway, but Georgia isn't winning these championships because of Stetson. That's a fact. That's a fact. Georgia didn't win a title in 1980 because of Buck Bellew, and they didn't win a title in 2021 because of Stetson Bennett. Lou, let's go with Kentucky to finish second in the East this year. It'll either be Kentucky or Tennessee, in my opinion. Top 5 helmets in college football. I don't know if I can do that off the top of my head. I'd probably have to sit down and think about that and make out a list. And plus, so many teams now have multiple helmets that would be hard to do. That would be hard to do, and I definitely can't do that off the top of my head. If Stetson wins it back-to-back again, what will be the media talk? If Georgia wins the national title this year, there will be 40 players that won 2 national titles in a row, and Stetson Bennett will be one of them. Who will be the SEC West runner-up? The SEC West is hard to predict this year. Texas A&M, I think, has a chance to be good. Ole Miss has a chance to be good. Arkansas has a chance to be good. It won't be Auburn, and it won't be Mississippi State. But it could be any other team in the West. How did you like your Clemson visit? What did you think? I haven't been to Clemson in 20 years, probably longer. Did you hear Mark Stoops' comments on NIL? Yes, I did. LSU will improve this season. Well, it's hard for them to get any worse. Lou, what if Florida beats Tennessee again this year? That would be devastating for Tennessee and Josh Heupel because Florida is not a very good team this year, and Tennessee should be. Dude said Alabama will be second. I didn't say that. You must be talking about somebody in the comments. Jake Cake says, did you get my money? Where'd you send it? Did you send it to PayPal? Here's what I have on PayPal. The Kayshawn Booty sent $50. So I'm writing that here. I'll even I can't show it because it's got this person's real name on PayPal, but he sent $50. So I'm writing it down right now with the other 3 bets that I have. That's the wrong pen. All right. LSU wide receiver Booty will be first wide receiver taken in the 2023 draft. $50. Yep. All right. I got it. I got the LSU bet for $50. And Hoghead, thank you for hitting the PayPal link to help support the show today, sir. He says, I am enjoying the show. Thank you. I'm enjoying doing it. And I think there's a pretty good chance this guy wins this bet with LSU. Keyshawn Booty is a great wide receiver. I think I said in the video, I think he's the best wide receiver in the SEC. I think he's really, really good. It's just before the season has even been played, that's a bet I'm willing to make. Even money, you get one wide receiver, I get every other wide receiver. I'll make that bet, but I'm not very it's nothing against Keyshawn Booty. I think he's amazing. Whoever the person was with the Alabama and Georgia bet, though, that never showed up. Yeah, Nussmeier could be good. Dark horse Big Ten champ. To me, Ohio State to me is so good this year. Anyone else would qualify as a dark horse. So Wisconsin, Nebraska, Penn State, Michigan, any of those to me would be dark horses. I think there's a better chance that a team from the West wins it than there is a team from the East not named Ohio State. I think Ohio State's going to win the East for sure. I just think, I think Ohio State's winning the Big Ten. So to pick a dark horse in the Big Ten, you have to hope that Ohio State screws something up in the Big Ten title game against whatever West team it is. I think Ohio State is the best team heading into the season. Is the 2018 National Championship game the most heartbreaking for you? No, that was the game where Trevor Lawrence beat the absolute shit out of Alabama. That didn't break my heart at all. Now, the 2017 national title game was heartbreaking because Georgia lost in overtime to Alabama. But the 2018 national title game didn't have any emotional impact on me at all. How can you rate Ohio State so high without seeing them? Somebody has to be ranked number 1 in the preseason, don't they? And no one has seen anybody. So you could, if you're going to ask that question, you could ask that question about anybody. How can you have anybody ranked that high if you haven't seen them? You have to, when you have a preseason ranking, someone has to be number 1. You can't start your preseason ranking at number 5. We all thought that last year about Ohio State. I never thought that last year about Ohio State, ever. And I've got the videos and the comments to prove it. Lou, are you a dog or cat person? I'm more of a dog person. I happen to have a cat right now, but it's the only cat I've ever had. I've always had dogs. I kind of got suckered into getting this cat through something with my kids, but I don't regret it. I love that cat. But I would consider myself more of a dog person. Did I miss a super chat? Jesus Christ Home Slice, is that you? When the new college football game comes out, UTEP versus UGA will be your first game, right? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Dylan Deloney says, do you think FSU can make a bowl game this season? I already did an FSU preview, didn't I? And I believe I had them at 7-5. Didn't I? Which would make them bowl eligible. One possession loss to the national champ. Oh, God. Here you go. Here you go. Here's my... I already did an FSU prediction video, so I'll put it up for you to see. Another ad? Who is this jamoke? One, two, three, four, five, six. That looks like 6 and 6. 6 and 6. So, yes. Losses to LSU, Wake Forest, NC State, Clemson, Miami, and Florida. So 6 and 6, I've got the Noles. So yeah, that would be a bowl game. 6 wins to make a bowl game. Wake Forest a loss? Yes, Wake Forest is going to score 60 points a game this year. Wake Forest probably has got the best offense in the ACC. Clemson and Georgia in the Natty this year. It's possible. It's possible. Do you know Jelly Roll? No, I do not. I do not know Jelly Roll. I do not know. Unfortunately, I do not know Jelly Roll. Sorry. All right, Alabama man never sent that bet, so y'all are all my witness here. But LSU wide receiver man did send the money for the Keyshawn Booty bet. O-line predictions. What do you mean by that? I said earlier, I think Georgia's got the best offensive line in the country. What chances would you give the playoffs being just Big Ten and SEC? It's possible, but I just don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. So I'll give it a 25% chance. I don't think anybody from the Big Ten West is making the playoffs. So the only way to get 2 Big Ten teams in would be you'd have to have a 12-0 team that then wins the Big Ten title to go to 13-0. You'd have to have another team from the Big Ten East that was 11-1, and their only loss was to that 13-0 team. Then it becomes possible if you have multiple 2-loss conference champions other places. The SEC's best bet for getting 2 in is the same way they got into last year, which is either Georgia or Alabama or both showing up to the SEC title game 12-0. Arkansas schedule prediction? I haven't done Arkansas yet. I think Alabama is the only team I've done from the SEC West so far. Here's the teams I've done so far. Right here. I've done Alabama, Miami, Southern Cal, Wisconsin, Baylor, South Carolina, and Florida State. So there's a playlist on my channel, on this channel, called 2022 predictions or something. If you go to that playlist, you can check those out. Who are the next few schedule predictions on your list? All right. Let's see. The next one, I believe that. The next one is Baylor. The next one is Baylor. Is that right? Let's see. Baylor and Utah, I believe, are the next two. No, I've already done Baylor. Utah and I can't remember. I guess it's Utah. I can't remember who's after Utah. I've already done Baylor. So it's Utah and then a Big Ten team, but I can't remember which one it is. It's Utah and then a Big Ten team, but I just can't remember which one. Lou, can I get a go Dogs? Of course you can. Say no more. There you go. You already did Baylor. Utah is up next and then a Big Ten team. And then probably Notre Dame. When are you doing OU? OU is at least 5 videos away because of the order that I'm going in. I won't even get back to the Big 12 for 5 more videos. And I'm not sure if Oklahoma is the one that's up next, because I get these from my Patreon page. I make a post over on my Patreon page every year, and then everybody on the Patreon page comments what team they want me to do, and that's where I get the teams from. And after I do all the teams on that list, then I start doing other teams. As far as the order, I try to switch it up. I don't I don't want to do like 5 SEC teams in a row and then the Big Ten people and the ACC people get bored. So if you look at the order that I've done them in so far, here's the order I've done them in so far. This is a clue. SEC, ACC, Pac-12, Big Ten, Big 12. Then I went back to the ACC and did South Carolina. Then I did Florida State from the ACC. So that means the next one up is back to the Pac-12, which is going to be Utah. Then it's going to be the Big Ten, and I'm not sure who it's going to be yet. And then the Big 12. And then I'm probably going to do Notre Dame and Independent, and then go back to the SEC and rotate like that. That's how I do it. The best I can. I try to keep that format the best I can. But you have to keep in mind, I'm getting the teams off the Patreon page. So if there's 8 SEC teams listed on the Patreon page and only 3 Big Ten teams, then it ends up being 8 SEC teams and 3 Big Ten. So sometimes I do have to do, some conferences same in a row or something like that. All right, everybody. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me today. I was just looking to kill some time this afternoon on a Saturday. I did upload a video right before I started this stream. Vegas has odds out on conference expansion. You can actually place bets on what team you think will join which conference next. It's crazy. So check that video out when you leave the live stream. But I appreciate all of you hanging out with me today. I had a good time. Shout out to everybody who helped support the channel today through the PayPal, the Super Chat, and the Cash App. I really appreciate that. And I got the bet for LSU wide receiver, Keyshawn Boutte being the first wide receiver taken in next year's NFL draft. The guy talking about Alabama and Georgia, he never sent any money. So if he does send it later, I'll let you know later, and I'll write it down with the rest of the bets that I have for the season. But if I don't have the bet written down in here, it's not a bet, because there's too many people that want to show up halfway through the season. Well, I don't remember back in February I said we were betting. No, I don't remember. No. And unless you sent the money, it ain't a bet. So anyway, appreciate everybody hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you again real soon. Have a good morning. Hey.
still, followed by millions of dumbfounded dipshits, and some say the end is near. Some say we'll see Armageddon soon. Certainly hope we will. I sure could use a vacation from this stupid shit. Silly shit. Stupid shit. One great big festering neon distraction. I've a suggestion to keep you all occupied. Learn to swim. Learn to swim. Learn to swim. Mom's gonna fix it all soon. Mom's coming round to put it back the way it ought to be. Fuck L. Ron Hubbard and fuck all these clones. Fuck all these gun-toting hip gangster wannabes. Yeah, fuck retro anything. Fuck your tattoos. Fuck all you junkies and fuck your short memory. Yeah, fuck smiley glad-ons with hidden agendas. Fuck these dysfunctional, insecure